I'll admit there is one thing I love as much as greatsword. Dragon Piercer! Hello, my fellow hunters. Okay. Almost as much as greatsword, but still, ranged greatsword has long been a passion of mine. I like bow, you know I like bow. I've given you your best sort of normal bow set a couple days ago. But I can't deny that this is what I've been looking forward to most. You see, ever since the 5th gen, ever since World gave bow Dragon Piercer, I have just been utterly enamored by it. The idea of this slow charge-up shot that just blasts through the monster, ripping with damage after damage, hitting obscene numbers for the bow, it just gives me no end of satisfaction compared to kind of the entire rest of the weapon. There's a reason I call it ranged greatsword, because I'm very aware of the irony of taking a bow and just playing it like it is, literally greatsword. But I also don't care, because it's fucking awesome. And in Wilds, it's not just awesome, it's not just powerful. There is an argument to be made, it's the best way to play the weapon. And that gets me all sorts of tingling. But before we get into the how, the why, the set, let's walk down memory lane. In base world, we were the first people to pioneer a Dragon Piercer only playstyle. It was the way to play bow that involved purely pumping raw damage, and back then you could use crit draw, so that was all your affinity needs done, and then you could just blast out these massively pumped shots that would tear through monsters. But it was, of course, a gimmick, a little bit of a meme. It couldn't compete with regular just dodging around and blasting with element with your normal shots. But by the end of World's life cycle, deep into Iceborne post-Fatalis, with Frostcraft adding to the draw power, well, I got as far as engineering a Dragon Piercer only set that killed something like Frostfang Barioth in literally just 10 shots. And that, I thought, was, well, the peak. And that thought was reinforced when Rise and Sunbreak came along, and while we still had Dragon Piercer, it just wasn't the same. It wasn't anywhere nearly as powerful, it wasn't as satisfying, it really kind of took a step back, but we still pushed it as far as we could. So now, of course, I was going to do the same in Wilds, and the result is beyond my expectation. And thinking about it, it makes sense. In Wilds, currently, Element's kinda struggling because elemental hit zones on monsters are kinda sorta pathetic relative to what they're taking from Raw. So even in your elemental bow builds, you're still favoring a little bit of Raw, like with some Adrenaline Rush, not even taking full burst. So pushing it fully into the quite ridiculous motion values that Dragon Piercer has, especially with the more potent version of it you can fire, well, you start to see some really speedy kill times. I get faster kill times with this than regular element and regular playing, and indeed some of the fastest speedrun times incorporate Dragon Piercer. They're not pure Dragon Piercer, obviously, like I've done here, because all I want to do is press the big sparkly rocket, but it tells you a lot about this being arguably the way for bow, which is both exciting for me, but maybe sad for those of you that just want to play, you know, regular normal bow with some elements and all of that. But hey, I'm sure that will have its day in the long life of Wilds and its eventual master rank. So without further ado then, let's dig a little bit deeper into what's going on here. So when it comes to Dragon Piercer then, you've got two types of Dragon Piercer in Wilds. You've got Just Press It, which will do a very slow but very powerful, heavy, long recovery one. You will also do this if all you have done is dodged around, you've not gone up any charge levels, you've not fired a shot. You will do this big one where you slide back across the ground. However, if you have fired a shot, for example, and then you follow up with a Dragon Piercer as a combo, you'll do a Quick Piercer. It goes off much faster, you recover much quicker, but it does less damage. Now, both are very good. You can essentially finish your Dragon Piercer Piercer, dodge, finish your Dragon Piercer, and then dodge, finish your Dragon Piercer endlessly, and that will pump out some really, really good numbers. But whenever the monster gives you an opportunity, whenever you've got a moment, just stopping and then getting off the properly powerful one will be really, really nice. And actually, if, say, we just down the monster here, we walk up, we do our slow one, get that damage out, then to recover from that, we dash back forward, then go in to a quicker one, then we start again with the slower one. That's kind of a nice little rhythm to be doing. But depending on what's happening, you probably will end up a lot of your time just doing dodges into Dragon Piercer as you dance around the monster, discerning dodge, and then go into it. Either way, though, spamming Dragon Piercer is the name of the game, and the inbuilt discerning dodge is a fantastic way to do that, because generally, if you've just iframed through an attack, you're going to be able to get a quick Dragon Piercer off afterwards. Now, the best Dragon Piercer bow, which awesomely isn't Artian, has close range, which is wonderful, because in Wilds, that's just plus 40% damage to the Dragon Piercer. But obviously, close range is close range, so this is all we get when it comes to our effective Dragon Piercer range. So you will often find yourself getting rocketed backwards by your Dragon Piercer and then having to dash back forward to get back into comfortable range. Obviously line yourself up for max length on the monster through its weakest hit zones, and the rest is kind of easy. And there is nothing wrong with, when you don't have the time to Dragon Piercer, just getting in some normal bowage, because it still does a really nice amount of damage with this setup. And then we go in to the Dragon Piercers, but you really want it to be your focus wherever possible, and just use all of your trick arrow bar to put on your coatings. We don't need to worry about traces or anything like that, and obviously focus stroke whenever you can to buy yourself more time, and ironically do another Dragon Piercer. And one of the things that's changed so much in Wilds for this kind of playstyle is before, once you committed to your Dragon Piercer, well, you couldn't change where you were aiming. Whereas obviously with focus mode, we could just straight up do a full 360, so you essentially never have to miss it, which is great. That coupled with discerning dodge built in to set up piercer opportunities, it has never been both more powerful and more enjoyable to hunt like this. Without further ado then, let's get onto the set, and that begins with the bow for the job, and it is the Griefbringer Urstox, the Guardian Doshagama bow, which, as I said, is lovely that it's not Artian, because it's incredibly cool to look at, and it feels like the kind of meaty raw bow you want for Dragon Piercer. And the thing is, it's built for it. 250 raw is colossal, minus 15% affinity is plenty dealable with, but it also comes with 2 ranks of ballistics, which helps out close range coating, and special ammo boost. And that level 1 slot on it just finishes special ammo boost, so it might as well be level 2, and then we've got 3 slots to play with. The math on this is very close to a pure attack Artian, but this does just edge it out, which is really, really nice. This then is the set. You want a Guardian Fulgur helmet, you want the Arkvulcan chest, you want the Guardian arkveld gloves, and then gore waist and legs, all the beta versions. And your exploiter talisman for 2 weakness exploit. Combined with the gloves and the chest, that already finishes weakness exploit, which is great. We want as much affinity on this as possible to pump that damage when we put in critical boost, and then we start the makings of agitator, which is actually really good here. The roar and the affinity bump is solid. The 2-piece gore gives us access to the antivirus for the 25% affinity and some really, really good decoration economy, so all in all, this works out great. Then, if we decorate it up, we end up looking like this. We finish Agitator with 3 Challenger decorations in the 3 slots, we finish Antivirus with 2 of the 1 slots, we finish Constitution with the remaining 3 1 slots, which is really, really nice to still have that kind of stamina management, and you may see that there is no stamina surge here. That's because if we're spamming Dragon Piercer, well, it's actually not that brutal at all on our stamina, coupled with this discerning dodge, giving us those bursts of stamina back too, and you'll find that it's plenty comfortable without it. Then that just leaves 3 2 slots. I personally have put in level 3 Counter-Strike because if you're going to be playing Dragon Piercer, you are going to be sat there charging the Piercer a lot, and we are all mere mortal humans. You will occasionally get hit, and the extra raw from doing so is really, really potent and meaty to Dragon Piercer. Now don't get me wrong, if these were level 3 slots, we'd put something like Adrenaline Rush in, but considering these are only 2 slots and we don't need any coalescence, we don't need any maximum might, we kind of don't really have that many choices. You could whack in full ambush and go full speedrun if you want, but again, for a normal player in a normal hunt, this isn't worth it over the course of a normal hunt. You could make your discerning dodge easier with your evade window, you could put in some refresh utility if you really like, and I suppose if you really want to pump it and play perfectly, peak performance is okay, but plus 10 for just 3 ranks is kinda lame, so I really did settle on Counter-Strike for that plus 25 for 30 seconds. It really is felt when it's up, but truly you can use these 3 2 slots on anything you want, from more damage to more utility. Even Part Breaker would be quite fun if it was actually working properly. Then when we go up to our weapon, we finish Special Ammo Boost, which is a huge increase to Dragon Piercer itself. We get 3 ranks of critical boost as we are reaching respectable affinity levels. We are on 55% even with the minus 15 to start with, which makes critical boost worth it. And then we get piercing shots, as that's just a nice big solid bump to Dragon Piercer no matter what is happening. This then brings us our set together, and it's really, really solid, as you've seen in the Arkveld hunt. And to do the math on it real quick, you will end up looking like this once you are done. I've not allowed for Counter-Strike being constantly on, and in return I've just let Agitator take its full value, as its uptime is actually quite nice in Wilds, and it makes things nice and simple, but it is a monstrous amount of damage to be pumping out through Dragon Piercer with the set. And that's that then, everyone. Your Dragon Piercer only bow in Wilds. And yes, I say that, you can play this completely like normal as a raw bow, in which case I would put the Stamina Surge in, but still, either way, for some raw pow, yeah, this is deliciously good, to the point where it really does outperform Element in a lot of situations, and especially, at least to me, in the situation that matters most, fun. For now then, look out for more builds on the way, including some more greatsword stuff, and for now, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.